It's not every day you get a lesson in what justice really means. And it's even rarer when that lesson comes from standing your ground against a spoiled rich kid and his entitled mother. But that's exactly what happened to me on the ranch one quiet afternoon that turned into a battle I wasn't expecting and one that still haunts me. Let me start from the beginning. I'm Tom Reynolds, sheriff in a small town up in the hills, and I've got a piece of land that's more than just dirt and grass. It's called Pine Ridge Ranch, and it's not just where I live, it's who I am. The pine trees, the old fences, and the stillness you only get from land that's been worked for generations. It's my home, my sanctuary, and it's been that way for years, until things started to change. I'm not saying we're perfect, me oldest friend Sarah and I. We've had our share of ups and downs, but when it comes to this land, we protect it. It's sacred to us. There's a grove over by the stream where we honor veterans. No signs, no speeches, just the names of the brave souls who gave it all. I remember standing there, feeling the weight of those names carved into the stones. It's a peace that's earned, not given. And I'll be damned if anyone disrespects that. Sarah and I, we go way back. We grew up here, played on this dirt, and now we protect it together. Sarah's got a calm about her, never rushed, never angry, but her loyalty to this land? That's fierce. And Buddy Leo, our security guy, well, he's been around longer than the barn roof. Most of the time, he's telling wild stories to the chickens, but when things get serious, you can bet your boots Buddy's there. He'd wrestle a raccoon before he'd let someone walk all over us. Now here's the thing. There's a new development on the other side of the ridge. A fancy little community called Whispering Oaks, with big houses and bigger egos. The homeowners there, especially one Karen Miller, have been causing trouble from day one. Karen's the president of the Homeowners Association, and she's got a reputation, a real nasty one. She's one of those people who think they can push everyone around just because they've got money and power. And I'm not the type to back down. I'll admit, I've got my hands full most days. Sheriff work isn't just about making sure cows don't wander off. It's about keeping peace in a world that's anything but peaceful. But the ranch? That's where I recharge. And when Karen and her HOA started trying to impose their ridiculous rules on my land, I kept my cool. Until the day it went too far. It was a warm afternoon, the kind where the smell of pine needles fills the air and the breeze rustles through the trees. I was out by the Memorial Grove, checking the fence line. Sarah was supposed to come by Laturway. We're planning to hang some new birdhouses she'd painted, and Buddy Leo was probably off, entertaining the chickens. But then it happened. It started as a faint thumping in the distance, the deep beat of bass music thumping so loud it felt like the earth was vibrating. I know that sound. It's the kind you hear when someone's crossed a line, when they forget where their property ends and mine begins. And sure enough, there it was, an all-out party right on my land. I walked over the rise, and there it was, a huge, gaudy tent, pink and gold balloons, and a DJ booth blaring music louder than anything I'd ever heard. Dozens of teenagers dancing, drinking, laughing, with not a care in the world. The music was so loud I could feel it in my chest. And standing right in front of me, smirking like he owned the place, was Preston Miller. You know, the type, the rich kid with the expensive hair and the smirk that just begs to be wiped off. He looked me up and down, like I was nothing more than a farmhand. "Hey, Grandpa," he said, sneering, "lost your way?" I was already angry, but I didn't let it show. "This is private property, son," I said, my voice calm but firm. "You need to move this party off my land." Preston didn't even blink. "Private property?" he scoffed. "This is my birthday bash. My mom said we could use this field. It's like in used community land or something." That was it. My blood boiled. That patch of weeds, as he called it, it wasn't just a field. It was a memorial for veterans. My ancestors fought for this land, and I'd be damned if I let a bunch of rich kids come in and trash it. I looked him straight in the eye and said, "This is Peaceful Pines Ranch. My ranch. And you're trespassing." Then Karen Miller showed up, her high heels sinking into the earth, her sunglasses perched like a crown. She didn't even glance at the wreckage her son had caused. She just focused on me, sizing me up like I was some inconvenience. I kept my voice even. "I've asked your son and his guests to leave. They're trespassing, causing damage, and there's underage drinking." Her laugh was short and sharp. "My son is having a birthday party. A harmless celebration." Then she waved her hand dismissively. "If there's been a misunderstanding, maybe we can resolve it. A small donation to your farm, perhaps? I couldn't believe it. She thought she could buy me off. But I wasn't about to back down. This is not for sale, I said, standing my ground. Karen's eyes narrowed, her voice dripping with venom. You don't know who I am. I have connections. If you continue harassing my son and his friends, I'll make sure you regret it. I'll have my lawyers go over every inch of your pathetic little farm. That was the moment I realized how deep this ran. Karen wasn't just trying to protect her son. She was trying to manipulate the entire situation. But I wasn't having it. I documented everything, every violation, every piece of trash, every piece of evidence that could back up my case. I called in my deputy, Dave Miller. I've got a situation, I said. We've got trespassing, property damage, and underage drinking. I need units standing by. And then, just as the situation seemed to calm, something unexpected happened. Richard Miller, Karen's husband, a well-known board member of the HOA for the DJ booth. He was fumbling with something, trying to hide a metallic lockbox in the speaker. That's when my instincts kicked in. Something was off. I moved in, and as I got closer, I saw Eat a stack of cash, bags of drugs. The game had just changed. I didn't flinch. Hold it right there, I yelled, moving toward him. The deputies and I converged on him, and before anyone could react, he tried to run. He didn't get far. The discovery of the drugs and cash shocked everyone. Karen and Preston were stunned, frozen in place. The party, the music, the arrogance, all of it was about to come crashing down. Richard was arrested. Karen's world started to unravel. And that's when it really hit. Metas wasn't just about trespassing. This was about corruption, power, and the real cost of entitlement. The deputies handled everything with professionalism. The scene was processed, evidence collected, and Karen's threats of legal action dissolved into nothing. But what happened next? That was even more satisfying. I looked Karen right in the eye and pulled out my sheriff's badge. Actually, ma'am, I said, holding it up so the sunlight caught it. I'm Sheriff Tom Reynolds. And this land is mine. The look on her face? Priceless. She went from smug superiority to utter disbelief in a split second. The sirens were starting to wail in the distance, and Karen, Preston, and Richard, they were now facing a whole new world of consequences. As the officers moved in to process everything, I watched them all shocked, defeated, and realizing just how wrong they'd been. But for me, the real lesson was about justice. Justice isn't about revenge. It's about doing what's right, no matter how hard it is. It's about standing firm for what you believe in, even when the world is trying to push you down. And in that moment, standing there in the midst of the wreckage their arrogance had caused, I knew the lesson had been taught. So what do you think? Was it worth it? Was it worth standing up to people who think they can buy their way through life, even when it costs you everything? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below, share your opinion on justice, on entitlement, or on any of the conflicts that drive our communities today. Let's talk about it.